Welcome back to Wrestling World. We previously talked about the Sasha Banks vs. Asuka championship match and went over everything that happened there, but now we're starting to hear reviews of the match from other superstars. The one superstar we'll be going over today is Ember Moon. Ember Moon has quietly been out of action for a long time now. Ember suffered a career-threatening Achilles injury over a year ago and still remains out of action with no timetable at all for a return. Everyone feared for Ember because the Achilles is not something that heals easily. It's very difficult to come back from. And taking a look at all the athletes that dealt with the same injury in the past, majority of them aren't the same after coming back from it. Even Ember's fellow WWE Superstar, Xavier Woods, is also trying to come back from an Achilles injury. Xavier seems to be heading in the right direction, but Ember is still trying to recover, and there's even been talks about a possible second surgery for her. So she's still trying to fight that. Ember has been busy during her time off though, as a frequent guest on WWE Backstage, but that show was cancelled, leaving Ember with not much to do. Ember has started up her own streams though, and she was recently reviewing the championship match between Sasha Banks and Asuka. Ember brought up such a great point and had some great ideas for how the finish of that match should have played out. So we'll take a look at what she said about the match, and I'll break it down on why I completely agree with her. She had this to say about the matchup via her stream. Why do we need two double championships? Is SummerSlam going to be like low-key Evolution, with Sasha and Bayley wrestling for the singles titles? And also for the tag titles? Is that a thing? Are we just reliving Triple H and Steve Austin, two-man power trip from 2001? Sasha and Bayley have done a great job with a limited roster, but there are too many people sitting at home to tie up all the titles with two people. I was kind of upset. The match was superb. I don't like the fact knowing it was Kairi's last appearance. I don't know if that was the way to go. I feel you make it more of a threat than just Kairi getting beat up backstage. I think you have Bayley beat up Kairi, and then have her with a forklift about to drop some cinder blocks. Asuka had Sasha in the Asuka lock. All she had to do was sit back. It makes more sense if Kairi is in more of a threatening situation versus her getting thrown into stuff and stomped. I get we're supposed to be angry, and kudos to them for making us angry. No one wanted Asuka to lose. Everyone wanted NXT Asuka back and having an undefeated streak. That's what WWE does. I fell for the ploy of I'm angry because I saw my friend Asuka lose the title in a bad way. Are we going to have Sasha just lose the title to Lacey Evans or transfer Naomi over? They're building to SummerSlam, right? As a fan, I feel like I got ripped because once again, I don't get Bayley vs. Sasha. That's everything Ember had to say, and the part that I agree with her the most on is the finish to the match. Doesn't make much sense for Asuka to just completely walk away from her championship match like nothing to go save Kairi from a small attack. That's her best friend. Of course she wants to help her, but Asuka should have been like, okay, let me wrap this title win and then I'll go save Kairi. But if WWE was going to keep the idea of Asuka walking away, then I think Ember's idea would make sense for Asuka walking away from the match. Just show Bayley getting that forklift ready with those cinder blocks, and it'll make perfect sense for Asuka to forget about that match and go save Kairi from a very serious situation. That would have made perfect logical sense, rather than Asuka leaving the match over some small stomps Kairi was getting. So I completely agree with Ember Moon on that. Put Kairi in a more serious situation, and it makes better sense for Asuka to walk away from the match. Then Ember also mentioned something else during her comments, and that's the fact that she's not a fan of the double champion situation for Sasha and Bayley. Now, I don't mind Sasha and Bayley as a double champion. I think it's beyond well-deserved, but I agree that it's going to make things a little weird going forward. Sasha and Bayley legitimately hold all the main roster titles for the women. And like I always say, if you're not in the women's title picture, then chances are you're probably at home. And depending on how WWE handles this double champion situation, that's probably going to continue to be true. There's still a lot of WWE women that have nothing to do. You just look at Ruby Riott, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Carmella, Dana Brooke, the Iconics, and so much more women that have no direction at all right now. So I assume that's what Ember is also talking about. She's saying that giving Sasha and Bayley all the titles really limits the usage of other women on the roster, which could be true. Not to mention what this means for Sasha and Bayley at the next few pay-per-views. Will they both be defending their singles titles and the tag titles? So they'll be having 2 matches every pay-per-view? So, like we talked about before, the addition of the Raw Women's title into the story is great for Sasha Banks, but it honestly makes the storyline direction impossible to predict. We'll have to see how WWE will handle them as double champions going forward. Just a quick break. Want to take this time to remind you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and you're enjoying what you see. We have daily new wrestling-related content, so click on that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss any new videos. So you might have noticed it, or you might have missed it, but we have 2 big legendary returns over the last few weeks on Raw. The last few episodes of Raw included the returns of Ron Simmons and Mark Henry. When you watch back the segments with them, you might find their appearance to be really random and pointless, but according to some reports, Ron and Mark Henry were brought to the Raw tapings with a really big idea in mind. WWE was reportedly considering the concept of bringing back the legendary faction Nation of Domination. Obviously, it would be a new version with some new superstars, but was going to be overlooked by some of the faction's original members, Mark Henry and Ron Simmons. And it's believed that MVP's faction with Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin could have been the foundation for this new Nation of Domination. Apparently, this idea was so liked and ready to go that WWE brought Mark Henry and Ron Simmons to the Performance Center for the tapings. They were all in and were ready to give this idea a chance. It's possible that the idea came from MVP himself. MVP has been putting in a lot of hard work since his return this year and has reportedly really impressed Vince McMahon. Other reports claim that Vince McMahon really loves MVP's ideas and will listen to them all the time. So I think it's definitely a possibility that this could have been an idea that MVP pitched. We don't really know for sure. But they were serious enough about it that they flew out Mark Henry and Ron Simmons. But as we saw on Raw, nothing happened. Ron made a quick cameo backstage, and Mark Henry appeared on screen for a few seconds as he was being shown talking to Ruby Riott and Bianca Belair. However, reports claim that this idea was cancelled at the last second, and since Mark and Ron already made the trip to the Performance Center, WWE decided to put both of them on TV in some capacity for quick cameos. Now, me personally, I hope this report isn't true about them canceling this idea. I think a new faction of talented superstars that would be led by 2 legendary WWE figures like Mark and Ron would absolutely work. Just having Mark Henry and Ron Simmons' strong presence in managing this new faction would have been really exciting to see. Definitely would have been something new, and that's what we need. We're in desperate need of new things on WWE television, so I think it really would have been nice to see. But maybe WWE is taking it back to the drawing board and still discussing everything, so hopefully that idea isn't completely off the table. What are your thoughts on Ember Moon's critical review of Sasha Banks vs. Asuka? What did you think of the new Nation of Domination rumor as well? Don't forget to leave your comments, subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.